when I was talking earlier about how Seema and I had talked about keynote speakers, and I had two people in mind. One of them was Wendy, and the other one was this woman you're about to meet. And I'm so thrilled that she's able to be with us today because she is a songbird. She is a goddess voice. She has a goddess voice that I can't wait for you to hear. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Julie Garnye. Julie is a singer, an actress, a voiceover artist, a recording artist, a host, a writer, a producer, a director, a technical producer, a voice teacher, and a chocolatier. She was most recently seen as an original cast member of the first national tour of the Broadway hit Come From Away. Phenomenal. On television, she's recently appeared on season 9 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and on film, she is the singing voice of the fairy Lyria in the Tinkerbell series of films for Disney Animation. Ms. Garnye has sung with numerous symphony orchestras across the globe and performed on both the Oscars and the Emmy Awards. She has performed with Josh Groban, Carole King, Kristen Chenoweth, and jazz legend Dave Brubeck, and has been blessed to grace the stage of the Hollywood Bowl 11 times. Pretty phenomenal. She is currently recording her first album with Club 44 Records in Nashville. And for more information, you can visit her website at Julie Garnye, that's JulieGarnye.com. I am so thrilled to introduce you to my friend, Julie Garnye. Julie, I am so thrilled to have you with us today because this was, again, like I said earlier, this was one of those, I said to Seema, she is so busy. I don't know if we're going to be able to get her. And when you said yes, I was thrilled.
Oh, well,
So
for you, my friend, anything. I'm very, very happy to be here. This is so great. And, the stuff that's been going on today has been amazing. So I'm just
it
thrilled
has
to
been
be a
a
part of
good
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations to you and Seema and all your
Oh,
co-authors. It's a huge feat to publish a book. So I'm just thrilled for all of you.
thank you. Actually, we were just amazed because I don't know if you heard the part yet, but we just found out that we are international status in like 5 countries and counting. There's more to come, I think. And over
Incredible.
13 countries represented here. Yeah. And lots of breakthroughs in terms of how we're gaining speed in areas that we never thought we would before, accolades, and as we gain our bestseller status. So it's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, just
So
it's so
yeah,
thrilling.
go ahead. It is thrilling. Um, you know what? I wanted to ask you, what is going to be the topic of your talk today? Do you
Yeah,
want to kind of give
so
it?
absolutely. And I mean, I can start it. I have little slides that I wanted to show as well, but that's okay if it
Oh,
doesn't work out. Um,
we
my
definitely want to see this. I'm just waiting to get you on camera. So if there's anything you want to say, please jump
Yeah.
in.
My topic today is called Breaking Free to Your Unstoppability. Um, I guess I'll just start introducing myself while we're waiting for me to get on screen. I'm not quite sure. I keep clicking on
Yeah.
start video, but it's not letting me do it. So I think someone has to let me in.
Well,
But
you and I as performers are used to this, where there's always a last minute glitch technically, and you just gotta roll with the punches.
absolutely. In fact, one of my key points in my talk is about pivoting. So, and that's what we're doing right
Right?
now. We're adapting and pivoting. Um, but you just kind of
So
do it.
true. So
Yeah.
true.
So I've been singing my whole life, and a number of years ago, I was feeling pretty stuck. I was auditioning for Broadway shows, I was auditioning for television and film, and I wasn't really getting where I wanted to be. And so I hired a life coach, which is a very LA thing to say. But I hired a life coach, and she basically has been guiding me through. Reaching my goals and discovering my unstoppability, and we discovered it together the very first year that I worked with this life coach. We've been together now for 3 years. Oh great, I'm being asked to start my video.
Okay, good. Did it work?
I don't know, let's see. There
Oh,
he is.
there you are. Yay, we did
Hi.
it. So glad you're here now. I can see
Oh,
the
me
world.
too.
Okay, please
So
continue.
excited
So
to
you
be
were
here.
working with a life coach. I'm right on the edge. I want to know
Yes.
what
Hi,
happened next.
everyone. So nice
Hi.
to be here. So I was working with a life coach, and she decided that she wanted me to choose a word for the year, for my first year. And the word I wanted to choose was unstoppability. That was the word I chose. And I said I've never truly felt unstoppable, and I want to explore that. And so we spent the year exploring how I could become unstoppable. And at the end of the year, I did a series of concerts in Los Angeles and New York called Unstoppable, celebrating my unstoppability. And by the end of the year, I had booked my first Broadway show. So it was just a very successful, very inspiring year. And throughout the course of that year, and the 2 years subsequent to that, since I've been trying to delve more into how one becomes unstoppable, I've sort of kind of created a 7 point tier on how to discover your unstoppability. And so that's kind of what my talk is about today, and I'm super super excited about it.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I
So
can't wait. I'm going to actually go off video so that you can have the floor. So I'm going to give it
great.
to you if that's okay. And then we'll come back later and do a Q&A. So just a quick note, if anybody has questions for Julie, please put them in the chat and in the Facebook group, and we will make sure and ask you after you're done. So
Fabulous, can't
if
wait.
you're ready, here you are, my friend. Take it
Great,
away.
thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, I spent an entire year delving into my unstoppability. I read books like Sincero's You Are a Badass, and I read a book called The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. So I embraced their techniques and created my own as well. And these are the 7 things that I learned throughout the course of my year of unstoppability. The first one is really a simple one when you say it, but then you're like, I'm not quite sure how to do that, which is know what you want. Know what you want. Set goals for yourself. Create your life pattern. Find your passion, whatever those things are. I couldn't find them by myself. I needed someone to guide me. I needed someone to help me. I couldn't just kind of sit there and go, what do I want with my life? So instead, I used a life coach and I used friends. Not used, but I got together with friends. I sat with them, we chatted, we talked, and through a course of brainstorming and just chatting together, we discovered what my passions are. Make a list. Super important to make a list of what you want and get ready to delve headfirst into those things. Super, super important. If you don't know what you want, you're not going to be able to delve into the unstoppability of how you can achieve those things. Really, really important. So know what you want. And don't be afraid. Expand. Think outside the box. It's okay. It's okay to think of crazy, crazy things. You never know what you'll be able to achieve unless you think of them and unless you embrace them as something that you want to have as a part of your life. So if it's buying a 5-bedroom home, well, that just seems crazy to some people in their minds that they could never fathom owning a 5-bedroom home. You can think of it, you can do it. Know what you want. So that's the number one thing. Number two is probably one of the most difficult things for people to embrace or to follow through with, and that is to do the work. So there's lots of different parts of doing the work. Number one, once you've identified what you want to do, who you want to be as your unstoppable self, doing the work is creating lists, creating timelines, creating project designs, whatever that might be, for what you want for your unstoppable life. And a lot of people start and they don't finish. And that is a big, big issue with being unstoppable, is completing the tasks. Completing the tasks at hand. Now, if it seems overwhelming, which to me, I'm a runner. If if anyone knows what that means, I look at a task, it seems overwhelming, and I run away and I never complete it. So for me, it was about creating baby steps toward unstoppability. And so everyone has their own journey toward unstoppability. And for me, it was about creating baby steps, going one step at a time with my goals and doing the work. creating habits. For me, my first habit that I created was making my bed. I know that seems crazy, but I'd never really made my bed before. I'd just roll out of bed and get on with my day. So for me, making my bed seemed to complete a really simple yet detailed task in the morning. And that set my day off right. So I highly recommend making your bed. I know it's simple, but I cannot recommend it enough. Another thing I started doing was journaling. Now, there are various types of journals. I started because, again, I go into overwhelm with tasks. I started with a 1 minute journal. So every morning I would set aside 1 minute in bed. I'd have my journal at my desk, at my bedside table with a pen. I'd wake up, I'd greet the day, I'd grab my journal, and for 1 minute, one single minute, I'd journal. And that seemed to be a great way to just get my thoughts down at the beginning of the day, start my day off right. Then I'd roll out of bed and make my bed. So whatever those habits are for you, create those for yourself. There are lots of different workbooks and different guides online that you can find if you don't know how to start creating habits for yourself. If you are a little bit lost in that realm, go ahead and just jump online, find a few things, and create some habits for yourself. It's a great way to start feeling confident about the things that you can accomplish, and all of those things tie in to who you are as your unstoppable self. So habits, 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 and do the work. Another part of doing the work that I find so incredibly important and most people overlook is self-care. Self-care is so incredibly important for your mental and your physical well-being, and also for the well-being of the people around you who you love. So if you take care of you, you'll be able to take care of your unstoppability and the unstoppability of those around you. You'll be able to start recognizing the great things about the people around you. But you can't do it if you're stressed out, overwhelmed, tired, grumpy, hungry, whatever those things are for you. Self-care, number one, super important. You can't do the work if you're not taking care of yourself. Eat properly, get enough sleep, take bubble baths. You know, if you have a loved one with you, I know in the pandemic era, sometimes some of us, like myself, are alone and some of us aren't. So I bought a little massage gun and I give myself a good pounding in the neck every once in a while to release some tension. If you're not alone, get your loved one to give you a little massage. Whatever it takes to get you through the day, carve out time. I actually put self-care, I put 3 moments of self-care into my calendar every single day. I block out the time and I don't let anything impede those times. Now, if something comes up and I have to move those times, you can move them, but you can't delete them. So important for your heart and for your mind, for your soul, and for your body. Self-care. So, so important. And I consider that as part of doing the work. If you don't do the work on yourself, how are you going to find and tap into and maintain your unstoppability? So, so, so important. All right, the next one. This is tough. This is tough for a lot of people, including myself. Don't take no for an answer. Don't let anybody tell you no. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Now, maybe we're not going to be married to the actual finishing of the goal, and what I mean by finishing of the goal is the outcome might not be exactly what you wanted it to be, or the journey to get there might not be exactly what you wanted it to be, or what you envisioned in your mind. But if you have a goal, if you are trying to be unstoppable in a certain way, don't let anybody dull your shine. Don't let anybody tell you, no, you can't do that. The number of times I've heard people tell me, you know, my entire life, people were saying, there's no way I could be on Broadway. There's no way I could do this. There's no way I could accomplish this goal. There's no way I could be an entrepreneur. And what are you now? You're on Broadway. You're an entrepreneur. You're doing all of the things that you wanted to do in your life. So don't let anyone dull your shine. It is so important. I know it's hard because sometimes people say, "Oh, you can't do that." What makes you think you have the space in our world that you can take up that space in our world to do it? Prove them wrong. So that is something that I really tapped into with my unstoppability. For the years prior to exploring my unstoppability, I was letting people dull my shine. I was letting people tell me, you can't do that. And I was saying, you know what? You're right. Don't let them do that to you. You're beautiful on the inside and on the outside. And tap into that beauty and let that be your strength. Let others who tell you you can't do it, show them that you can in whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's so important to never let anyone tell you no. Say yes. That's part of the Shonda Rhimes book that I'm talking about. And also, I know this book that these beautiful women have published, to break free from the no, to break free from everything that's stopping you from doing what you know in your heart you can do. Break free from that and say yes to everything. And who knows what'll appear in your life when you don't take no and you start saying yes. Really, really important. The next in our series of 7, release your fear of failure. This one was really tough for me. I was very afraid of a lot of things. I was very afraid to fail and fail in front of people. Now, the job that I do in front of thousands and thousands of people. Every time I've sung at the Hollywood Bowl, it's in front of 18,000 people. That's how big the Hollywood Bowl is. It seats 18,000 people. Every time I'm on television, that's millions of viewers. Every time I do a Broadway show, that's 2,000 people in a theater. So my fear of failure was very high because I was in front of a lot of people. And sometimes you just have to go, so what? So what if you fail? It's okay to fail. In fact, in that year of unstoppability for me, I discovered that the more I failed, the more I learned and the stronger I felt. And the more I realized that I can do more things if I learn from the failures of the past and bring that learning, bring that knowledge forward. And you'll never make that mistake again. And you will expand your horizons when you make those mistakes. So release your fear. Release your fear of failure. In fact, by the end of the year, I was embracing the failure. I was like, bring on the mistakes. Let's go. Let's make as many mistakes as we can so that we can learn from them and adapt and grow. And I'm telling you, once you start releasing your fear of failure, you'll feel like you can do anything. It's this beautiful freedom of knowing that, like, the scary part of failing, if you release the fear of that, you can do anything because there's nothing holding you back. So what if you fail? That's not holding you back anymore. So I heartily wish for all of you to embrace your fear of failing. Don't be afraid to fail. Embrace it. It's going to carry you through. All right, number 5. I love number 5. We were just talking about it, which is pivoting and adapting. So, like I said, sometimes throughout this journey of being unstoppable and understanding what your unstoppability is, things might appear that are not exactly what you were expecting them to be. They might be surprises to you. And in that case, be ready to pivot and adapt. Perfect example, the pandemic. prior to the pandemic, I was in a Broadway show. I was touring the country with a beautiful, very successful Broadway show. I was in the original cast. I was very successful in my career. As soon as the pandemic hit, everything shut down. And we were told, oh, it's just going to be a couple of weeks and then we'll be back on track. Well, now we're, creeping up to a year later, and still no theater has been opened. And I have been unemployed for a year. What did I do? I immediately pivoted and adapted. I knew that if I was going to remain and maintain my unstoppability, I had to try something new. But in the process of that, in looking at that, I realized I'm still a creative human being. I'm still a creative being on this planet. And so anything that I do has to be creative. Otherwise, that part of my soul will die. So whatever that is for you, whatever it is for you that you give to the planet, tap into that and turn it around. Check out what it could be that you could jump outside that box and pivot and adapt what your gift is to the world. So for me, it was about first going into technical producing. I now do all virtual events that would have been live and in person. I now produce virtually. I've raised thousands of dollars for charities all over the country to help with everyone in the entertainment business to maintain their livelihoods and their homes and their food on their table, because I'm producing concerts and talk shows and various things online that raise money for anyone in the creative business. So that's how I pivoted and adapted. When my shows that I was working on in November and December of last year kind of went on hiatus, everyone kind of took a break for the holidays, I thought, all right, I'm a creative person. What am I going to do? I delved into sugar work. I started making hot cocoa bombs, and I sold out in 24 hours. And I created a company called Pretty Please with Sugar. And a portion of the proceeds of all of my hot cocoa bombs go towards St. Jude's research of juvenile cancer, trying to end juvenile cancer. So again, it's about taking your creativity and turning it on its head. What do you love? Again, going back to number one, know what you want, know what your passions are, and tapping into those passions, and then using them to pivot and adapt your life, and turning those passions into something that you're really, really excited about when you wake up in the morning. So that is my number 5, is pivoting and adapting. Number 6, I'm trying to find the slide for number 6 and I'm having a little trouble finding it. Well, number 6 is, I know it's here. Here it is. Persisting and persevering. This is the toughest one for a lot of people, because a lot of times your journey is not going to be what you envisioned in your head. And sometimes you're going to face roadblocks, you're going to face stumbling blocks, you're not going to want to go on. Persistence. Persistence, persistence, persistence. This is the number 1 rule in unstoppability. If you are not persistent, then you're blocked, you're stopped. So keep going. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about that's in relation to persistence and perseverance is my number 7. These two are connected, and they're super, super important to work together. And it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, but I feel is the most important thing in my life, which is giving. Being generous, giving of your time, giving of who you are, giving of whatever you have, financial, food, whatever you can give in your life. That is going to tie into when you're feeling stuck. So my little trick is when I'm feeling like, oh gosh, I can't go on, I can't keep going, I can't persevere, I can't persist through whatever I'm working toward, I stop and I give. I give my time. Now here, this is something that I think that a lot of people don't think about a lot. And this is one of the reasons why I said yes to today. Like Laurel said, I'm a very busy person. I'm running 3 companies of my own. and I'm a voice teacher, and I'm doing auditions all the time, even in the time of COVID. And it's really tough to find time, to carve out time. But this is something that's so important to me. You can give money, you can give food, you can give physical stuff, you can give hand me downs. There are so many things you can give. When you give your time, time is something you can't get back. I can always make more money. I can always go back to the store and buy more food. There are so many things that I can get back that I've given. Time is the most precious, precious gift that you can give because you can never get it back. We have one life. We have one life on this planet. And when you give the gift of your time, you are basically telling the people around you that this is my most precious gift, a gift I can never get back. And I want to give it to you because you're important to me. And what I do for you is important to me to give to you. So when I'm stuck, when I can no longer persist and I feel like I'm blocked, I reach out and I ask who needs something, who in my life. And like the beauty of social media right now is that you can reach out to all the people in your life through whatever social media platform you're using, or simply to text people that you love and say, who needs something today? Who needs me today? Whether it be just sending love or a phone call or a text message saying, thinking of you and I love you and I care, and that's it. I just care about you. Or what can I do to help you today, to help you find your passion, help you find what you love in your life. So give, give, give. I just think it's so important. So those are my 7 points. Know what you want. Do the work. Don't take no for an answer. Release your fear of failure. Pivot and adapt. Persist and persevere. And give, give, give. Those are the 7 things I learned in my year of unstoppability. I make sure that every single one of those 7 things happens on a regular basis in my life. I schedule all of those things in my calendar to make sure that I'm moving forward in my unstoppability. And I thrive on those 7 points. Laurel and Seema have both asked me to share a little bit. Hi, Seema.
We're coming back.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi there.
We
You all,
thought we would accompany you during your song.
what was that?
I said, we thought we would accompany you, be your audience while you do the last part.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. You know what? Actually, Seema, since we spoke a couple days ago, I actually found 2 songs that I've recorded that I think tie into this. The first one is from a musical called Dear Evan Hansen. And I recorded this song during pandemic with my friends Matt and Jeb. And I think that it lends itself to finding strength in yourself. And then the second one is one of my favorite songs of all time. And it's from a musical, Broadway musical called Funny Girl. And it really just, anytime I need to find strength, I turn to these lyrics because they are just so important to maintaining and reconnecting to your unstoppability. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, it says that it's disabled. My screen sharing has been disabled. So I'm not quite sure if I can share my screen now. Is that possible, Seema?
We will figure
Try
it out.
now. Try now. Go ahead.
Yes, now I probably can. Great. Okay. So I hope I hope you all enjoy this little video I created of these 2 songs together.
Julie, you need to unmute so we can hear it.
Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. 'Cause maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. When you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand and know someone will come running, and I know to take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
There's a place where we don't have to feel alone. Every time that you call out, you're a little less alone. If you only say the word, come across the silence, your voice is heard.
Or someone will come running and take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home.
Take me home.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found.
You will be found.
You will be found.
You will be found.
Under the shadows, morning is breaking, and all is new, all is new. Staring at the empty, silently I see that all is new, all is new.
You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone.
You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need someone to carry you, when you're broken on the ground,
You will be found. You'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. Even when the dark comes crashing through, you will be found. And you need someone to carry you. You will be found. You will be found.
me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I simply got you. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you are allowed to rain on my parade? I'll march my band out, I'll be my drum, and if I'm fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. Guess I didn't fake it, hat, sir. I guess I didn't make it, but whether I'm the rose of sheer perfection, a freckle on the nose of life's complexion, a cinder or the shiny apple of his eye, I gotta fly once, I gotta try once, only can die once, right, sir? Ooh, love is juicy, juicy, and you'll see, I gotta have my bite, sir. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. I gotta live and live now. Get what I want, I know how. One roll for the whole shebang. One throw, that bell will go clang. Eye on a target and wham. One shot, one gunshot and bam! Hey, Studio City, here I am. How much I band out, I'll beat my drum, and if I'm banned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, hat, sir. I guess I didn't make it. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Nobody, no, nobody is gonna rain on my
Garnye!
Woo! Now,
Wow.
why I was so excited to have this woman join us. I was literally, Julie, I literally have chills. I typed that in the chat, just saying,
I have to
oh my
jump
gosh,
into
I
the
was
chat
trying
now.
to cry. Wow.
Oh my gosh, I agree. I'm still feeling the goosebumps and energy really passing through.
Yeah.
The first song, You Will Be Found, just brought tears to my eyes.
Mhm.
And that is so the whole reason we're doing this summit and my books are exactly for that, is for you to be found. We are so lost in this world. We're so lost because of being raised on other people's expectations and living other people's expectation. I know I had to change times because I had to fit in and be accepted by a group of kids, of people, or I was told you need to change because you're not good enough, you need to do this better than that. And I just lost myself. I had no idea who I was. I had to reconnect and get to know. So that really touched my heart. And that is the whole point. So I hope everyone got that message. You will be found. Just put your radar out there, put your energy out there, and the right people will come into your life to help you get through to the next level, to the next thing. So I just need to take a moment. It's just,
Of course.
this is the whole point, everyone.
I know the chills just keep coming. And I
Oh
want
my
to,
gosh.
before I forget, Julie, if you could please put the link at some point to that video in the chat so that people
Oh,
can find it
sure.
later.
Happy to.
know there
Very
will be-
happy to.
I
In
just
fact,
know, yeah, people will want to share it.
if anybody wants to find it, you can just go to my YouTube channel. So you just go to youtube.com/ and then my first and last name, Julie Garnye. And all of my videos are there, including the Don't Rain on My Parade one. All the videos are there, but the You Will Be Found video is also there. But I'll put a direct link to it as well.
Perfect. And while we're here, just a quick shout out to the
And
two
I'm
children that were in that video with you. Again, what were their names?
Matt Zarley and oh Jeb, I can't think of his last name right now. I can't
It
think of his
was
last
you.
name, but
You
it's
get-
on. If you go to the video, it's on the video.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was Matt's idea to do this song, and I was in Northern California at the time quarantining, and he called me and said, "Would you be able to record your part of the song?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I did it there. They both did it here in LA. I'm in LA now. And then we sent our videos and our audio in, and he did everything. He did all the mixing of the music. He created all the video. He's a brilliant. If anybody really wants to be inspired by music, Matt Zarley is an amazing musician, singer. He's done 7 Broadway shows, I think, and has numerous records out. And so he's my collaborator in many, many things. And so I felt really honored that this was the first thing he wanted to do when the pandemic hit, was to create music with me and Jeb. So very honored by that. Yeah. Just love the message.
beautiful. We've got so much love and on Facebook and on chat here. Marilyn says, thank you so much, Julie. Your story has brightened my life today, and I'm very grateful. I have a personal note to you in the notes to panelists only. Namaste.
Amazing. All right. Well,
And a lot of people are saying, amazing, great performance. You've touched so many people's heart, and music is such a beautiful way of doing that. And I think even if you don't know the language, like this morning we had Indian music, people were still able to connect with that, even though you don't know the language, you don't know what is actually being said, but you can feel the essence of it.
it's the beautiful thing about music. It really
So
it touches everyone's hearts, no matter what language the lyrics are in. It doesn't matter. The music tells the message as well.
Mm-hmm. We did have one question too from
So
Ari.
one of the questions,
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know if you saw it, Seema. Go ahead.
well, not Ariel's. You can. Why don't you go ahead with Ariel's?
Oh, okay. Ariel said, Julie, I have so many friends who are musicians and artists who are struggling during the pandemic, and they just don't either believe they can pivot or have no interest. Really, it's belief driven to try, yet they're struggling. So where, who, what, how do you recommend I send them in the direction of? She loves your pivot idea. That really struck a chord, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm just loving the word pivot. That was my year. That was my word for 2020 was pivot, pivot and adapt. And so yeah, there are many many creative people in all realms of life, whether it be in the theater space, acting space, musician space, food space. There's lots of different creative endeavors out there, even like, people who make macrame. I don't even know, like anyone who's a creative human being with creativity in their soul, you're going to get stuck. It's really hard when someone tells you, you have to stop, you can't see people, you can't create. So again, the number 7 point is what really got me through. I knew that in order to get unstuck, I had to give. So look into various charities that are your favorites. For me, they happen to be St. Jude's and the Actors Fund. The Actors Fund is a charity that is based around anyone in the entertainment business. I'm not just talking for actors. I'm talking musicians, set designers, costume designers, the people that clean the bathrooms in Broadway theaters, ticket takers, ushers, anyone in any realm of entertainment for people who write books, people who write musicals, anyone who's in the creative space, you can benefit from the Actors Fund. It's my favorite charity. I never say no to them. I've produced now 4 concerts for them, and I really believe in, and truly all of the money they've given millions of dollars away in the last year alone to people who are struggling. So if you are struggling and you don't know what to do to pivot, volunteer for these organizations, and I promise you it will come back to you 100 times fold, because it will broaden your heart, it'll broaden your mind, you'll meet new people, and who knows what it will lead to. But also just the act of giving will will make you feel like you're contributing to the world again. And that's the one thing that we creatives love doing, is contributing to the world, whether you're writing a book, as you ladies have done, or you're creating music, whatever it is that you're creating. When you stop creating, you stop contributing to the world at large, and donating your time to any charity will help you reconnect with that part of yourself and will help reconnect to your creativity. So that's what I recommend. That's my number one thing. Give, give, give.
It's really beautiful. And as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, and there's also really small ways that we can give too. I think of, I can hold a door open for somebody when I'm walking out of a building or into a building, mask on or no, there's still,
I mean,
with a smile.
yeah, the first thing that happened when I was in Northern California for an extended period of time during the pandemic, I knew I was going to be coming back to LA. And so I started getting some stuff. I ordered some things online and I had them delivered to my home, but I wasn't here yet in LA. My next door neighbor saw a couple of boxes piled up. She brought them into her home and she kept them in her home for 4 days until I got back to LA. And when I got here, I didn't see any boxes and I panicked. I was like, someone stole my stuff. It's the first thing you think of, is like someone grabbed my boxes and walked away with them, right? And she immediately texted me and she's like, hey, I saw your boxes and I just thought that I want to keep them safe for you. The generosity of that. She lives in a studio apartment. She doesn't have a lot of room in her space. And the fact that she kept 4 big boxes in her home for 4 days for me, when we barely knew each other. So I got her flowers and put them on her doorstep and said, because like we couldn't see each other because of the pandemic. So I left her a vase full of flowers and a little card to say thank you for her generosity. Even little things like that. Put a box of cupcakes at the doorstep of your neighbor and see what that does for their day. It's going to make someone smile. Do little things like that. Little things. It really changes everything.
If that's not peace, love, and unity, Seema, I don't know what is.
I know, that's a perfect example. That is so good. It's the, well, we also talk about the random act of kindness, right? Just pay it forward, do something for someone else. It always comes back. It always does come back to you. But people are sometimes fixated that if I do something, for example, if I do something for Lauren, then Lauren needs to do something for me. But it doesn't work out that way. We're always doing it for other people. Sometimes it's not the intention of giving back to Laurel, for example. It could be giving back to someone else. We give and get in so many different ways. So just, it's the unconditional love you're talking about. And that can be for anyone. You don't have to know people for a long time. You don't even have to know people at all. Like, it was your neighbor. You probably didn't even know each other that well, as you're saying. But that's what develops the relationship. That's the basic humanity and compassion we are talking about. It starts there. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your skin color is. It's about inclusion in diversity. And it's so much fun, right? If we all looked the same and sounded the same, how boring would the world be, right? The fact that we have different hair colors, different skin tones, different likes, and different thoughts on the different perspectives on the same idea, that's what makes it so interesting. Julie, you said that when you were in your year of unstoppability, you had reached out to friends. And when we're in depression or when we're feeling frustrated and upset, sometimes we don't even think of reaching out to friends, or we think, what will our friends think of me? Will they judge me if I reach out and say, I'm having issues, I'm having trouble? How did you break free from that?
I happen to be very lucky, and I happen to surround myself with people who are really incredible, really loving, caring people. And I think the number 4 point of releasing your fear of failure, releasing the idea of being afraid to fail in front of others is huge. And if you can show vulnerability in front of others, you have to also remember that you're not alone in that. And that's part of that first song, that you are not alone, right? We have to, yes, sometimes we go into the place of depression or feeling like you're the only person going through what you're going through. And the one thing that I really find it remarkable about the pandemic is that we are all going through this at the same time, that no one is going through something different. We are all basically experiencing different things, but we're in the same boat. And so, with that in mind, just remember and know that if you turn to people around you, if you turn to anyone around you, whether it be friends that you've had for years or family or some an organization like the Actors Fund, if you're feeling alone and there's really no one to turn toward an organization that you know can help you. But as long as you release your fear of being perfect and release your fear of looking vulnerable in front of others, know that everyone else is feeling the same thing right now. We're all in the same boat. We're all feeling the same things around what's going on. And you're bound to connect with someone who understands what you're going through and what stage of grief really that you're in. I mean, if you think about it, we're all going through the 5 stages of grief because our world has changed. Our world is so different than it was. So trying to find peace, love, and unity in a world that is falling apart, we really need each other. We need to hold on to each other. And wherever you can find that, just know that when you reach out to somebody else, I promise you they're feeling the same thing you are. They might be hiding it, they might be covering it up, but the moment you show your vulnerability, they'll feel open and free to show theirs. So all you need to do is be open and expressive, and just to one person, even if they're a complete stranger, just be open and they will feel ready to open up to you as well. So I think it's really important to reach out when you're feeling that way.
And I think it's true. And I think it's a sign of strength. People think it's a sign of weakness if you ask for help or reach out for help. It's a sign of strength because, like you said, it just, the other person may be feeling the same way. And when you show up saying this, it opens up the space for them too. And then it's a healing of, you can heal together. Laura, what are your thoughts on that?
I just want to quickly say it actually taps into
please
your
go.
unstoppability. Sharing your vulnerability, like you said, Seema, that taps into and maintains your own personal unstoppability. Because if you can be vulnerable, then that proves that you can be unstoppable.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think while you were speaking, Julie, I was thinking about on a singular level, on a macro and micro level, I think there's a breakdown to rebuild. So each of us is going through our own individual breakdowns as we move through this time. And then, of course, globally we are. And yet, what's going to arise from that? What's going to be the new version of us individually and globally as we come to the other side? So that's something I keep in mind as well. Like you were saying, keeping in mind that others are going through something similar. But the idea that then there's something else on the other side of this. And so that's the bridge, and I think the bridge is also peace, love, and unity. As you said, I think it's as we move through this, let's remember to be kind to one another, to be kind to ourselves, to know that we're all in this together so that we can get to another side that does look different and better than where we came from. Because we're never going to go back. It's never going to be what it was. And that's good. I think ultimately I'm not saying it's not painful. I'm not saying it's been without strife, because it certainly has, but what's possible on the other side? Let's keep moving towards that. I think that's what your first song speaks to. And I think that's why we get chills. Like you were saying, Seema, we don't even know why we get chills when we hear something, or music just unites us because it connects on a different level, on a not so conscious level. Yeah, really beautiful.
Very true. And don't be afraid to walk, to get to the other side. There's only one way, and that is to walk through the storm, not around the storm. There's no other way. You have to go through it, through the storm. And sometimes you have to go through some things all by yourself. You have to. It's in the iron, the the ironsmith, right? He is able to bend the iron and shape it into some beautiful thing because it's going through the heat. So if you're going through that, just know that you're a diamond in the rough, and you are being polished. And when you get through that, when you're done with that, you're going to shine so brilliantly into a design of unimaginable beauty. So that is the other side. That is what is waiting for. And allow yourself, have your support system put up like Julie had, like I had, like I'm sure Laurel had. Find out who your support system is. And sometimes it's not the people you think it is. Sometimes it's new people. Sometimes it's people that will surprise you. And sometimes it's those people that are coming into your life just to help you through this storm. So look out for them.
And also,
Julie, thank you so much.
oh, you're welcome.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I just wanted to add that along with that, to leap and the net will appear. That is
Yes.
that's one of the phrases that I carried with me all of last year. It really helped me get through the fear of failure. I was like, if I just leap, then the net will appear. I might not know the shape of the net or how big the little holes are within the net. I can't control that part. But if I leap, something's going to happen. If I just try, something will happen. And so that's the most important thing toward tapping into and breaking free to your unstoppability. Just leap and the net will appear.
Because what if there is a failure? What if there's just falling forward?
Right? You won't know until you try.
Yeah,
Yes,
really well said. Oh, thank you so
very
much.
well said.
My pleasure, my friend. Very
Fantastic.
happy to be here. Congratulations.
Thank you. You too.